Welcome to the B.S Roll at Night. This is the first intro of the second intro. I decided to do something a little different and strange on this episode of the B.S Roll at Night. Is I didn't edit, so behind the curtains, I hit record and we kind of talk for a little bit to kind of warm up. And it's a lot of BS. It's a lot of just us being us. And usually I edit all of that out, and then we play the intro music, and that's where the show starts. However, I'm not editing it. So you get to hear all the weird stuff we talk about before it actually goes live. Have fun.
And they had a black candle. I go, oh, babe, I picked it up. I was like, you know what this is from? She goes, no. I go, it's from Hocus Pocus. And then the shopkeeper was like, she's like, I'm impressed. She's like, most people have no idea what that's from. I go, if it's involved in movies, I know it.
She's like, I'm a virgin. I can like this. And you're like, yes, so am I. I'm a virgin.
Long day. Long day.
I'll show you my long day.
Ooh, you touch my tra-la-la.
Ooh la la la.
You touch my ding-ding-dong.
I don't get it.
That's a song. You'll get it. When you touch my ding-ding-dong, you will understand.
You just innately know it.
Yeah, you know. It's like kind of like a hive mind effect that you know everything about my schlong.
I don't
Your
like
ding ding dong.
I don't like it. I don't want it.
Here, I'll clear it for you.
I'll clear you. Which profile is this? Good.
Ryan finally comes back. There's like 7 pages of just little notes from Phil.
I mean, there's 3 now.
By the way, I liked the end credit you did.
Yeah, about me sound like I'm a fucking serial killer. Yes, and then it electrocuted the squirrel and it died. It was the best thing ever. Fuck.
Yep. I liked it too. I liked it a lot.
I like it a lot.
But Jenny, I love you.
Let me see your genitals.
Welcome to the Forrest Gump fan cast, where we're going to talk about Bubba Gump shrimp.
You got
Lieutenant
fried
Dan.
shrimp. You got grilled shrimp.
Is Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan, you got no legs.
Let's actually do a Forrest Gump one shot, starting in the Vietnam War. Like that would be like the beginning of it, you know. It's like, you know, one of those things where it like starts like the Vietnam War, and you're like, oh, what's going on? And then like people realize, then it's slowly becoming like, don't tell them that it's Forrest Gump.
No. You're in the Vietnam War, and you're in the platoon, and there's 4 of you, and Bubba's also there, and he dies, and then your mission is to go back and save his family's business of shrimping.
Love it.
They shot me in the buttock.
The final boss, the turtle dragon.
3 sessions of playing ping pong. Roll for ping pong.
You could just do like
18.
Fuck, you ping ponging me. All right, let's go again. Next, 1 serving or 0 serving 1. 7.
10.
Fuck. 0 serving 2.
we're gonna be here a while.
9.
5. I hate this game. All right, if I lose this next one, I quit the podcast.
Oh,
You tell me.
11.
12. I win. Fuck you. All right, game over.
You beat.
Natural 20.
Damn it! I got a fucking 19.
bitch. All right, 2 serving 4. Oh, that's a 1.
I had a 6.
Damn. 2 serving 5. 19.
5.
Oh,
This-
3 serving 5.
this is gonna be the whole after the credits.
18.
7.
Okay.
4 serving 5.
4 serving 5. 12.
13.
Ah, you bitch. I'm gonna
First to 7.
Sure. 19.
Oh, 8.
So 5'7",
Yup. No, 5'6".
6.
18.
Fuck. So 6, 7, 14,
2.
7, 7.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wait, it's to 7. So technically you won. Oh, but game point.
Game point.
So we gotta win by 2. 10.
2.
Oh, game
Shit.
point. That's a 16, boy.
1.
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan. They got ice cream.
And then it jumped up and bit me in the ass.
Hell yeah! Welcome to our ping pong podcast where we talk about ping pong.
There was lots of rain. Rain coming down, rain coming from the side. There was even rain coming from below.
We're always looking for someone named Charlie. Need to watch that movie again.
I think we just need a React podcast. Like Forrest Gump.
But Jenny,
All right, so that's another option we can do for one shot is
the Forrest
Bubba, the Forrest Gump.
No, there should be like multiple ones, and one will be Forrest Gump. So one of you will be the old lady, and then one of you will be Forrest Gump sitting on the bench, and you can roll for a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're going to get. 16.
16. Ooh, and that's a Demigorgon.
Oh.
An 11.
I think the Forrest Gump podcast just needs to start on the bench. He's like, you know, my mama always told me life is like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're going to get.
Roll for initiative.
Oh, man.
Let's see what chocolate
And
I
Granny is actually a werepig.
get. I got a 12.
You know, I may leave all of this in.
Fair enough.
Perfect.
Yeah, why not? I'll just put the intro music before.
Perfect.
And then put it now.
Yep. Double the intro music.
Welcome to a double episode.
Pow, 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 pow. Sounding kind of like Blues Clues there.
Your Blue's Clues.
Welcome to the podcast. Just kidding. Here comes Tim.
Welcome to the B.S Roll at night.
Nights.
Where we talk about Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
And other stupid shit.
And a Forrest Gump one shot.
It's Mass Chaos. I'm with Nick and Phil.
What up?
Hello.
And this is probably the second time you've heard this intro music, so welcome.
That was the pre-show music, and then this is the show music.
If you've ever wondered where the after credits happens, it's usually when we're bullshitting before the intro music. All of it is after, before credits.
Everyone, if you're listening right now, we are currently trapped in a time loop in Tim's basement.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
And John Cena is coming down the stairs. Only you can help us because we can't see him.
So I was in the gym and I just watched whatever's on TNT.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Charmed, the 1998 to 2008 series Charm with the three
Why
witches.
do you know so much about when it aired?
I looked it up.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh my God, this seems really dated. When was it? Oh, late 90s. That tracks. And the witches were trying to find this demon. And apparently to kill people, there was a wrestling ring. And out comes Booker T and Scott Steiner
Hell yeah.
to like drag people to hell. And I'm like, what is this?
Yes.
So if you want us to do a Charmed one shot, hit us up on our social media, the BS Roll, on wherever you get your social medias.
Hell yeah.
I also found out that they're rebooting Charmed, or they rebooted
They did
Charmed.
reboot. They
Who is the cast?
I have no idea.
Well, you can't
Yeah,
can't
I'm
sprinkle
sorry.
that in front of my face and not tell me. Now we got to look that up.
It's on the WB, so that probably tells you everything you need to know about
You mean
it.
the CW?
Yes,
Wow, you're old.
I am.
I mean, I also consider the WB still as well.
I remember watching.
That's where I used to watch all of my Smallville.
I remember watching the Blues games on Channel 11.
I don't know if it's her. Is it from the show or is it her actual name, like the Allison Mack or whatever? Have you heard the whole crazy story with her,
yeah,
like how
yeah.
she's part of like a sex trafficking cult, and
Yup.
like it got real wild. I'm just like, she seems so cool on the show, but then you're like,
She was 100% bangable.
oh no,
Oh no!
this is where we're at.
Yeah, she would like brand people.
Yeah, so I'm just like, don't be on the WB shows or CW shows because you'll join a cult.
Dude, Supernatural's where it's at.
I don't watch any of this other
I've
than
watched.
Charmed when I work out.
Well, I remember you used to tell me you'd send me videos all the time when you were working out in the afternoons,
That's
and
true.
it would be Supernatural reruns.
And I would be like, I have no idea what's going on, but here it is.
I'd get it like a 5-second clip and be like, "Oh, that's the episode where this, and this happens," and Tim's like, "Cool."
You said words, but I have no idea what it means.
But like, I just want to know what kind of gym you're going to where it's just like playing like Charmed. Like, how's that supposed to hype you up?
It is on the elliptical machine or the
The treadmills.
treadmills that has a like little TV and only has like 5 channels.
So it's you and like 7 old ladies just jamming on the elliptical watching Charmed.
It's me and like 3 other dudes. Old
Even
dudes.
better.
Nice, I love it. I'm for it.
Because there's like ESPN or like
You get 2 ESPNs. There's TNT,
or NBC
NBC. I think CBS might actually be on there too.
or like Fox
CW,
News.
Fox News.
So those are my choices.
Yeah.
So I'll pick the shitty 90s sitcom.
At least there's titties.
So this is just a little spoiler here, but it says in 2023, the 16-year-old Charmed ones are living their complicated yet magical lives, unaware of their true destiny. I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna have to do some research for our fan cast next week on Charmed. But like, I'm pretty sure like Rose McGowan and Alyssa Milano, which are Alyssa Milano is one of the original cast, and then Rose McGowan was added after one of the sisters died. Spoilers. I'm sorry we didn't get into it.
It was
I don't know the characters. I don't know the person's name, but I know her name is Prue.
Prue dies, and
in
then
the-
Paige comes in.
Yeah,
And
and
the other ones
is Rose
are
McGowan.
Phoebe and why can't I think of the third?
Piper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Phoebe's the
so
young
hit us
one.
up on the BS Roll social media and tell us which one is your favorite of the Charmed sisters.
When I was a kid, I actually used to watch it. So
Yeah, I mean, I did too because I didn't have cable.
it was on before Supernatural or not Supernatural. Smallville was coming on a lot of times, so I'd end up watching the end of Charmed just so I could watch Smallville.
See, I would just watch it all, but I don't know if this ever happened to you guys, like falling asleep watching like WB and then waking up. Like this would be like on a Friday night, and then you wake up on Saturday like early morning, and it's like the Night Owl movies, and you're like watching like wild like 80s movies, and you're just like, this is so weird. But then you like watch it as an adult, and you're like, man, these movies were so great, but they messed me up as a kid. Like
It explains a lot, actually.
it does explain so much. Like
It's
Night
like
Owl.
watching the Twilight Show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like some weird things, and you're like, now as an adult, you're like, well, this wasn't as scary as I thought it was. But
I remember as a kid watching Nickelodeon, and it was Are You Afraid of the Dark? That that shit scared me.
Well, and then Goosebumps.
so that's back now. I don't know if you guys have watched that, but it's on
Yes.
Disney Plus.
I started watching a little bit
It
of
is good. Like
But
I don't know.
it's not like the old Goosebumps, like the shorts.
Well, it is in
Is
a
it?
way. Like how far into it are you?
Like 1 or 2 episodes.
So it combines all of them. So it's like one main story, but it follows like a bunch of the
Okay.
short stories.
So, like, one of the short stories could be 2 to 3 episodes or anything like that, or
Well, so it's like no, so it like all goes at the same time, but like different things happen to different people. So
okay.
like,
So that was something I did see. First
Yeah.
episode, you got one person's point of view, and then the second episode, it was someone else's point of view.
yeah, so it like kind of follows each of them, and then later on, like it goes back to you're like, well, nothing happened to this person in the first episode, and then you find out what happens to
okay.
them. So it's actually pretty good. New episodes drop on Friday. Welcome to our Goosebumps 2023 fan cast. Roll the intro music again.
Today we're talking about the Players Handbook of AD&D 2E, otherwise known as just 2E.
Yep.
Yep.
This is going to be a mostly Phil run one because he's got the most info.
I gave both of you guys the same stuff. I told you I was tired today. Now I gotta run this.
I have the player handbook and I wrote some notes.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about what you saw in Art Nauticana, Nick.
Sounds stupid.
I kind of already did last time.
We'll do it again.
Well, here we go. Why a second edition? Before answering that question, let's define what the second edition of the Advanced D&D game is and is not. This second edition of the Advanced D&D game is a lot different from the first edition. The presentation of the game has been cleaned up, the rules are reorganized, clarified, and streamlined. Where necessary, things that didn't work have been fixed. Things that did work haven't been changed. So they're like, all right, cool, this is good enough. We'll just leave it the way it is. The second edition is not a statement of what any one person thinks the game should be. It is a result of more than 3 years of discussion, thought, consultation, review, and play testing. Now, the question of why a second edition. The Advanced D&D game evolved over the course of 16 years. During that time, the game grew tremendously through play, changes and improvements, and a few mistakes were made. These were published in subsequent volumes. By 1988, the game consisted of 12 hardcover rulebooks. It was physically and intellectually unwieldy, but still a lot of fun. The time was right to reorganize and recombine all that information into a manageable package. That package is second edition.
Yeah, so 12 books. That was the first edition and like the 4 versions of that. And then you have Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, which you needed if you wanted to go higher levels in first edition.
But it's great. It's like we took these 12 books and combined them into one place, but it's still 250 pages.
Yes.
So I mean, it's still a lot, but you know, it makes sense.
Well, here's another thing too. Me and Tim went over one of the player handbooks of the older. Was it first edition?
Yes.
We had the PDF, and things were just so out of fucking order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you'd go a little bit, you're like, okay, cool. Here's how I fucking start combat and do this, and then it's like next thing you know, it's like, okay, cool. Here's some stuff about this kind of character. Then it's like, oh, but then here's how you actually build your character, and then it's like, oh, and here's another class. It's like, what are you guys doing?
I mean, it's kind of like the textbooks we had in school, though, where it'd be like talking about Mesopotamia, and then all of a sudden it's like talking about something completely unrelated to Mesopotamia.
World War II.
And then like brings you back. They're like, oh, yeah, in World War II, they ravaged all of Mesopotamia. And you're just like, oh, cool. And then it goes back to, well, let's talk about the seed of civilization. So, I mean, they're just following what other people did. It make no sense. Like us.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Mesopotamia Fancast. Another cool thing that's kind of like in the intro to the book is actually a note about pronouns, which I think, you know, nowadays we like in 2023, like we see a lot of things about that. But it says the male pronoun he, him, and his is used exclusively throughout the second edition of the Advanced D&D game rules.
Because this is for the men and not the girls.
We hope this won't be construed by anyone to be an attempt to exclude females from the game or imply their exclusion. Centuries of use have neutered the male pronoun. In written material, it is clear, concise, and familiar. Nothing else is. So, like, I don't know, they like try to make a point to be like, hey, let's be inclusive, but then they talk about like the male pronoun being neutered, and it's just like, I mean, you could have just left it as like, hey, this is what we use, but anyone can play. So, I don't know. Me and my wife actually talked about this. We're like, is this inclusive? Is this not inclusive? And I mean, you know, this is written back in the 80s. So, like, we've come leaps and bounds. And I know there's still, it's a hot topic, but it just like.
No, that's a store.
That is a store as well. But yeah, I mean, I just thought it was kind of interesting that it included it. They started off great, like, cool, like, everyone should play. And then they're like, the male pronoun is neutered. And I'm just like, oh, well, we took a few steps back there. So, good attempt. So now I'm going to have to break down when we get to 5e and see how inclusive they are, you know, in 5e.
They're not.
I know. Spoilers. We'll wait till we get there and find out.
I mean, me and Tim literally have a sign on the door that says "No girls allowed."
That's true.
And that's when Phil left.
Yeah,
Because Phil's a girl.
it's true.
That was for the next episode, guys.
Shit.
Surprise.
Hit the intro music again.
Yeah, that's super lame. I don't really have anything other than that. It's super lame.
All right, let's move on to an example of play. So this right here is actually kind of like a back and forth, like explaining like this is in the basics of the book, like an encounter. So the DM, you've been following this tunnel for about 120 yards. The water on the floor, or as we like to call rain from below, is ankle deep and very cold. Now and then you feel something brush against your foot. The smell of decay is getting stronger. The tunnel is gradually filling with cold mist. Fighter 1. I don't like this at all. Can we see anything up ahead that looks like a doorway or a branch in the tunnel? DM. Within the range of your torchlight, the tunnel is more or less straight. You don't see any branches or doorways. Cleric. The were-rat we hit had come this way. There's nowhere else to go. Fighter 1. Unless we missed a hidden door along the way, I hate this place. It gives me the creeps. Fighter 2. Wow, what a very robust.
Right.
This is great role play. Great.
Such a shitty cave.
We have to
I
track.
don't want to be here anymore.
We have to track down that were-rat. I say we keep going. Fighter 1. Okay, we keep going. But I mean, it actually breaks down like a whole thing on that. There's some ARGs. There's some Fighter 1 again, the Fighter 2. But I mean, at least it kind of shows all that.
Bad role play.
Yeah. But it's also great because it literally ends that thing with, I'll just end it with this. That's Ignatz. He was my brother. You killed my brother. Then he raises both maces and leaps at you.
I'm Inigo Montoya.
Exactly. But I'm just like, I mean, this is totally tracks for 1980s, though. Like,
It's
you
true.
just, like, look at it, and you're like, well, you know, they didn't have the internet, so, you know, you got to do what you can.
And we're looking for a man with 6 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
My dog, Chance, I swear, is Inigo Montoya. And I really wanted to, like, a Princess Bride costume. But my wife will not be Andre the Giant.
Why not?
I don't know.
That's fucking rude.
Yeah.
Fezzik.
Yeah, Fezzik. I don't know why I was thinking Izzik, and I'm like, that's not its name.
Its name?
Yeah.
We're all
The
inclusive
giant.
here.
Yeah, it's the giant.
Okay. I read on to humans, which I found to be fascinating. Although humans are treated as a single race in AD&D game, they come in all varieties we know on Earth. A human PC can have whatever racial characteristics the DM allows. Humans have only one special ability. They can be of any character class and rise to any level in any class. Other PC races are limited in choices in these areas. Humans are more social and tolerant than most other races.
Yeah. It always goes back to being super racist.
I'm going to be a ginger Asian with an afro.
Accepting the company of elves, dwarves, and the like with noticeably less complaint. That made me laugh because humans are the most tolerant. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So tolerant.
So tolerant. I mean, we could thank Tolkien for, elves and dwarves not getting along.
I mean, it's true. And then there's just hobbits.
Yeah, everyone loves hobbits.
Most people, I feel like, the way they talked about it in the movies, too, like, most people don't even know what a fucking hobbit is.
It's true.
Well, yeah, they keep to themselves, so they stay in the Shire.
We're looking for 2 hobbits. They'd only look like children in your eyes. Well, they should fucking know what a hobbit is. But no.
They're like
The riders of Rohan are too racist on their high horse to know what a hobbit is.
But then they like see 2 children and they're like hobbits. No, that's Rebecca and Danny. You saw them. They were at your barbecue last week. They must be hobbits. Arrest them now. I also thought this was interesting, like talking about the fighter, because I think 2E like really branches off for like fighters and kind of like creating feats and multiple subclasses for a fighter, which obviously breaks out into later on barbarian. I think kind of paladin takes a lot from that. Monk. But a fighter is a warrior, an expert in weapons, and if he is clever, tactics, and strategy, there are many famous fighters from legend: Hercules, Perseus, Hiawatha, Beowulf, Siegfried,
What about
Tristlan, Little John, yeah, Tristan, and Sinbad. History is crowded with great generals and warriors. Elcid, Hannibal, Alexander the Great, Charlemagne, Spartacus, Richard the Lionheart, and Belisarius. Your fighter could be modeled after any of these, or he could be unique. Visit your local library. A visit to your local library can uncover any heroic fighter. So it's just like kind of cool though that it's just like once again, you don't have access to the internet in the 80s, so you're like, hey, you've probably seen something in a book that you've read, or some movie. Yep. So here you go, like Little John from, Robin Hood. Like that's great because not the Little John that we know from the early 2000s. But it'd be kind of fun to have a character like a bard based off of Little John.
I do like how there are 4 classes. So you have the warrior, wizard, priest, rogue. But then the warrior can be a fighter, ranger, paladin. The wizard can be a mage, illusionist, or other. A priest can be a cleric, druid, or other. Mm-hmm. And a rogue can be a thief and a bard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, bards are thieves because they steal our hearts.
Well,
and our money.
It's the inclusion of bards for, I think, the first time.
Yeah.
And along with the druid, I do believe.
Yep.
Correct.
So it's interesting that a bard would be classified under a rogue.
Well, they're kind of similar, current rogues, they have the expertise, so they get to double their proficiency bonus in things they're already proficient in, where bards get jack of all trades, where they get half their proficiency in everything. So they have some similarities. And, like it talked about in the D&D movie that we talked about a few weeks ago. Bards are more common to the Harpers and, Snooky, and I mean Sneaky.
I was like, when did this become a Jersey Shore fan cast? Roll that music.
There's average height and weight for each of the races.
They have that now.
A dwarf is 43 inches.
Can you convert that to feet and inches?
No. And 130 pounds for the male.
I feel like that's a little bit light.
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty short, so I don't know. But
short, the height works, but...
they're mostly hair, so...
it gets weird. So there is male and female. So when I say 2 numbers, that is the male and female, and then I'll go to pounds. So the dwarf is 43, 41. In pounds, it is 130 to 105. An elf is 55 inches, 50 inches. Weight is 90 to 70. A gnome is 38 inches, 36 inches, 72 or 68 pounds. A half-elf is 60 inches and 58, or 110 pounds and 85 pounds. A halfling is 32.30. His weight is 52.48. The human, this is what I found the most interesting. The human is 60 inches and 59 inches, or 140 to 100 pounds.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Yep, totally.
Those are my dimensions.
Yep.
The ages, and there's variables. You can roll a 5d6 for the variable. Dwarves are 40, elves are 100, gnomes are 60, half elf is 15. This is their base age. Halfling 20, human 15. Yeah, and it gives into like aging effects.
I mean, but if you think of like medieval though, like 15 is like midlife.
Well, so
Kind of, yeah.
it gives aging effects in table 12 here.
Yeah.
So middle age for a dwarf is 125 years, elf is 175 years, gnome is 100 years, half elf is 62 years. It's very specific. Halfling is 50 years, and a human is 45 years. Old age, 167, 233, 133, 83, 67, 60. So an old age human is 60 years old.
That sounds about right.
That's why I tell people my parents are ancient.
The base,
You do not talk about her like that.
the maximum you can be for a dwarf is 250, elf is 350, gnome is 200, half elf is 125, a halfling is 100, and a human is 90.
Makes sense.
And you get plus or minus, like a -1 strength or a +1 wisdom modifier, or -2 strength, and then -1 constitution, or a -1 strength and a +1 intelligence based on some things.
Tim, I'm going to need you to roll for dementia.
Oh man.
Can you
I'm
think about having a character that gets dementia, and so you're in the middle of combat, and then you just fucking forget what you're doing.
What spell do I know? Is there anything about like dying of old age in that? I'm just curious. I know that's really weird and specific, but it's just like I'm just curious because if they're gonna be that specific, it's like, oh, sorry, your character ages out. Time to go.
Well, I guess if you hit the max, you dead.
I mean, it's like Chetney from Critical Role. He has to roll every now and then to see if he dies.
Well, I mean, if you're old, so if you're 90 years old, you have to take a -1 strength, dex, and con, but you get a +1 wisdom.
You know, that's really -1 for being old. Like that's like generous,
Right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're like a barbarian or a fighter.
You get that old man strength, you know? Instead of actually having the strength to do it, you just know how to angle the leverage right.
I don't know why. I just picture like some dude like, oh, that Werther's is under the couch, and he just like lifts the couch with one arm to grab his butterscotch out.
Well, I think actually, so middle age, so there's stars between middle age. So middle age has 1 star, old age has 2 stars, and venerable, which is old age, has 3 stars.
Good thing I've got the cheat code to clear that.
So I think, so 1 star is -1 strength, -1 con, +1 intelligence, wisdom. So I think every time you just keep adding. So if you are an old age, you have a -1 strength, -1 con, +1 intelligence and wisdom. Then you take another -2 strength and dex, -1 con, +1 wisdom.
That would make sense.
And then if you're really old, you then have to take another strength, dex, and con negative, and then you get another +1 intelligence wisdom.
All of a sudden, I went from being a fighter to being a fucking wizard.
Because I'm old.
Yeah.
It's just interesting how that's all lined up. If you want to play an old character, like you take your minuses and.
I want to point this out. So you guys talked about in Critical Role, they're rolling to see if they die or not in the campaign.
Yeah.
What if it's like day 1, I died?
And so
I mean, things happen. Like that's what I love about Critical Role is like they just roll with it. Like if something bad happens, like I mean, you can always roll a new character. So it's just
true.
like,
but just think about it that way. You're all psyched and ready to go. Day 1, your fucking character just dies of old age. Cool.
So spoilers for campaign 3.
That's why I was like, I don't know if I want to spoil it for him, but it sounds like
spoil
Tim
it.
doesn't give a
Go for
fuck.
it.
I don't care. It's 75 episodes in. Travis rolled a character in the beginning who was an old man who immediately gets killed.
He's like this swashbuckler, like debonair type. And it's just like, you're like, oh, okay, this guy's kind of like obnoxious.
Like the James Bond of...
Have you met Bertrand Bell in campaign 1 yet? Probably not. I think he shows up in campaign 1.
Does he?
I think he does for a hot second.
Describe him.
He's just an old like swashbuckler. Like, no, I think it's for the Search of Grog is when he really shows up.
Okay, I think it's got to be in a one shot because I haven't listened to the voice of Grog or anything like that. But basically, like once again, Matt Mercer is like tying the lore together, and he's this old guy that like it's kind of like
knows Vox Machina. And,
yeah,
like,
it's like honestly, it's kind of like Stolen Valor type thing. It's like he's like pretending like because he's like, oh, none of these people can like fact check me, so he's like, oh yeah, I fought them. This and that, and then he just gets smoked, like fighting like a entry level
Commoner.
NPC guy. Well, I mean, he's still part of the story, and then you're just like, oh shit, are they gonna bring him back? And then you're like, oh no. So like, I don't know. Part of me thinks that it was like kind of planned.
It was totally planned.
Yeah, because the character that he becomes is top notch. Like,
so he shows
the
up
best.
later as Chetney, who is a 400-year-old gnome.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it started out as a joke to roll a D100 to see if he would
Yeah.
die, and then it just became, no, that's canon.
I mean, that's a smart way to do it. And, there's got to be more than just, like, oh, I wake up in the morning and be like, in the middle of a fight, you're more likely to die than just rolling out of bed.
Yeah, so he has to. I think he rolls a D100 after every long rest to see if he died in his sleep.
But they don't really hold him too much to it. It's just like whenever someone's like, hey, when did you roll one? He's like, oh, yeah. And then he rolls it, and it's like, 66, baby.
So he's got to roll a 100, and then he's dead?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Is it 100 or is it 1? I think it's a 1 he dies.
I think
I
it's
mean, a 1 would make sense.
He said it once, and I think it is 100.
All right, well, you B.S Roll fact checkers out there, if you want to hit us up on the B.S Roll social media and tell us what it is, that'd be greatly appreciated.
For our Critical Role fan cast.
For our Critical Role fan cast that comes on right after the Forrest Gump fan cast and right before the Charmed fan cast.
Nick is
I
rolling.
rolled a 35.
You're good.
That's what I'm going to do next time.
Let's see if you...
I'm going to be like, how old is my character? And then I'll just add, additional base level if it's higher level stuff. That was a 94.
That's an old ass dude. If you were a human, you would be very old.
Yeah.
You would take a -1. I'm an 88, so I'm up there with you. All right,
Team
Tim.
Grandpa.
Tim, you got to roll.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to see if you're the geriatrics.
12.
65.
Oh, thank God. I was like, if we had a 12-year-old with us.
The young whippersnapper over
Yeah.
here.
Hi, guys!
Well, that's like one of the campaigns we played. Is like there's all these like freed pirates and stuff like that, and then there's like this like 13-year-old water genasi, and every time we'd roll into a town, they're just like they're gonna be so weirded out that we're with this kid. Like every single time, they're like, why do we have this kid with us?
What you should have done as that character is every time you went into town and near the guards, like, help! They stole me from my parents.
No, so mine was lawful good or chaotic good, and he very much like did not like lie. Like one time, he stopped a pickpocket and then had all the money that the pickpocket had collected, but like didn't know who it belonged to. So he had this like guilt that he stole the money, and he was holding on to this gold, and like his goal was to like go to so like pretty much every time he would go, he'd be like, hey, did anyone report any missing money? I've got this sack of money that I found. And like that was like a whole thing. Like he would just always like there was a fire, he'd stop what he was doing to like help, and like it got into some real big hijinks when it was just like helping like criminals do stuff. Like, oh, let me help you move these boxes out of this house in the middle of the night. But like that's how it was. It's just like he trusted everyone.
At some point in time as a DM, I would have been like, all right, this kid's going to come help, but it's a ploy to kidnap him and send him into child slave labor.
Jeez.
And then the rest of the party
you just take it so far so fast.
Wow.
and then the rest of the party's got to come save you. It'd be a good little side quest.
Yeah, I guess.
No, it's true.
Rip my water genasi teenager. There's also like breaking down like the priests having like a specific mythoi. So in the simplest versions of advanced D&D, clerics serve religions that can be generally described as good or evil. Nothing more needs to be said about it. The game will play perfectly well at this level. However, a DM who has taken the time to create a detailed campaign world has often spent some of the time devising elaborate pantheons, either unique creations or adaptations from history or literature. If the option is open and only your DM can decide, you may want your character to adhere to a particular mythos, taking advantage of the detail and color your DM has provided. If your character follows a particular mythos, expect him to have abilities, spells, and restrictions different from the generic cleric. So, I mean, early on, it's just like...
My next character is going to be generic cleric.
Well, that's like Derek the cleric. Derek the generic cleric.
Uh-huh.
Just basic, just copy paste.
Right.
I cast Guiding Bolt.
I was looking at the paladin.
Mm-hmm.
A paladin may call for his warhorse upon reaching 4th level or any time thereafter. This faithful steed need not be a horse. It may be whatever sort of creature it is appropriate to the character, as decided by the DM. A paladin's warhorse is a very special animal, bonded by fate to the warrior. The paladin does not really call, in quotes, the animal, nor does the horse instantly appear in front of him. Rather, the character must find his warhorse in some memorable way, most frequently by a specific quest. I just found that to be hilarious.
My warhorse is a Lapras that I caught out in the ocean with my Pokeball.
Nice.
Another fascinating thing about a paladin must tithe to whatever charitable religious institution of lawful good alignment he serves. A tithe is 10% of the paladin's income, whether coins, jewels, magical items, wages, rewards, or taxes.
Yeah, you got fucking taxed.
It must be paid immediately. No other class has that, other than the paladin has to tithe.
Yeah, so Derek the generic cleric is actually like a CPA, and he's like coming to you like, hey paladin, you didn't pay your taxes to Pelor, so we're gonna have to take that in skin.
If you want your Pelor prayer cloth, please.
Oh god, this is actually now a telethon.
Oh no!
Call us at 666-6666.
Oh. Do you want to burn like the sun? Please pay me 75 coins to the Pelor's prayer cloth. That's going to be my cleric from now on.
Perfect. I'm gonna start taxing all the religious boys in my campaign.
The paladin specifically.
Perfect, I love it.
Drew's gonna be like, I'm not fucking paying that. I'm like, well, you're no longer a paladin.
You have broken your oath.
You are now Oathbreaker.
Oh man, that is a plot twist.
Well,
True,
so
if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Tim's also a cleric, so he's gonna get taxed, but he's also
No, they said
sucking
it
the
was
king's
only
dick.
a paladin.
It's true.
I said all the religious boys.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's only a 2E that the paladin gets.
You should be like, I'm no longer religious anymore.
I abandoned my god.
For 10%, hell yeah.
Well, and then the rogue just comes up behind after that and then steals the whole tithe.
Yeah.
Well, the rogue is actually the one that you tithe to. He has some weird thing in there.
Of course.
But so going back to the cleric, like this is like breaking down like the deity. It doesn't specifically have the deity, but based on like what deity you choose, you like are stuck with that with a weapon. So like agriculture, you get a sickle. If you're a blacksmith, you get a warhammer. Death, you get a sickle. Disease, you get a whip. Earth, you get a pick, so you're like, you know, an old prospector. Healing, you get like a quarterstaff, a lance, a sling, a spear. Lightning, you get a dart, a javelin, a spear. Love, bow and arrows. Yeah. Nature, you get a club, a scimitar, a sickle.
The club them baby seals.
Yeah. Oceans, you get a harpoon, a spear, a trident. I think it'd be pretty badass to be like an ocean cleric with a trident, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
Aquaman, calm
Yeah,
down.
exactly.
You get a harpoon for like spearing the whales, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? It is what it is.
Cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a god of the oceans. You know, the ocean giveth and the ocean taketh away. So it is what it is.
As long as you use everything, you know, like the Indians used to, I think your god will be all right with it.
Well, now I want to be a water paladin with a whale warhorse. And like my memorable way is like I'm over here spearfishing, and all of a sudden I like tug on something that's real heavy, and then this giant blue whale comes out and is like,
Hello.
No. Your mount is a humpback whale. So every time it goes to jump out of the water, it then just lands on you.
well, but I am also multi-classing as a bard. So when we crest out of the water, I'm just like pelvic thrusting to like some techno music, casting light, dancing lights, just straight up rave.
So there's
Boom.
I didn't see any mention of like gods or anything like that.
You just create them yourself.
I mean, that's what it says is like to use like history or like other source material.
You have to go to the library to learn about those gods.
Yeah, go to your local library.
Did 3E introduce the gods?
Yeah, they had actual pantheons that you followed that were actually there.
But so like also, so not to finish it up real quick, then you've got war, which is a battle axe, mace, a morning star, spear, or sword, and then you've got like a god of wind, which would be like a blowgun or a dart.
Now wait a second. So in the second edition, what was it? The clerics in the older editions couldn't use pointy weapons; they all had to be blunt objects.
Yeah.
So you can use pointy objects now as a cleric. Okay, that's better
Yeah, the first edition, the 1983 first edition, you couldn't use anything.
because you don't kill.
Yeah, you can only use blunt.
Which I think it would still also be fun to have a character that, in a campaign that is opposed to killing. Like, it doesn't have to be necessarily a pacifist because you're still going to get into fights, but
No.
Tim's going to be a pacifist monk that literally, even when his party's fighting, he doesn't actually do anything. He just dodges and makes you hit yourself.
Well, no, he's gonna do like the old like the KOTOR battle meditation, where like he's just gonna focus and then everyone else is gonna be able to move at the same time. So like you could do some stuff like that.
It'd be like a weird, like I would say almost like an astral battle meditation, and what you do is literally your turns is just benefiting other people to do stuff, and that's all you do. But you can still get attacked, but when you're in your battle meditation, it's harder for you to get hit. Your AC has to go up or something.
Yeah, you could roll like like an attack roll, like a D20 plus 6 or something like that, and that's what you offer the other party members.
And you could do it. And so you can have sustained up to like X number of party members based on your level, and then if you get hit, you lose it all, so you have to go through round and round again to get those back.
You could also do something like kind of like sympathetic binding type thing, where it's like you like so like in your meditation, like if someone else takes hit points, you could like take that back or like pump hit points into them, or depending on what it is. I mean, there would be an interesting way to roll it. And so I think now we've just become like, how are we going to create these really weird, elaborate characters? And then we're like, all right, let's go. Let's campaign session 1. Everyone dies.
No. When we do our Forrest Gump one shot, someone's got to be Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
And they ain't going to have no legs.
Movement 0. Oh.
Yeah, but like crazy, like +6 to like melee attacks because the arms are just going to be jacked.
No. So it's actually a ranger with no legs, and he sits in a backpack on the fighter. And so they're just shooting from people from behind.
That'd be cool.
Well, or they could be a rogue, and then they could use it since they are only 2/3 a person. That's 3/4 cover. Therefore, every time they're behind the fighter, they literally can't get hit. Everyone's got disadvantage on them, so that's where it's at. So then you got like the fighters got to have some sort of like shield master. So then like it's unstoppable.
Yep.
That reminds me. So we had a turtle who could go into his shell,
right?
And like we broke it to where our giant Goliath would pick up the turtle and use him as a shield and like walk him down the battlefield.
Well, we actually in our campaign, so Michael is a turtle, goes in his shell. Well, then Drew's character, Vermeer, literally kicks him along this stairwell or like over a bridge, and it was like a fucking bowling ball going towards bowling pins of the bad guys, and people started fucking falling off the side.
Love it.
I was like, this is great.
It's like in Hook If you've seen that, when the kid rolls down the
Yeah.
like the pirate, I don't even know what you would consider that, like ramp, whatever those planks are.
Planks.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't think that's exactly what it's called, but if you've seen that wonderful Robin Williams classic
Of
book,
course.
that dude who's rolling down, I love that. That's great. So
What was the guy's name? Rufio.
Rufio. Yeah.
There's multi-classing.
In Hook.
Yes.
Yes, because I think Robin Williams plays a businessman and Peter Pan. Sorry, once again another spoiler tonight.
So there is multi-classing in 2E, but it's different.
What race can multi-class, Tim? Could you tell us, please?
Yep, I'm going to. So a dwarf can multi-class a fighter to a thief or a fighter to a cleric. That's it. An elf, fighter mage, fighter thief, mage thief, fighter mage thief. So an elf can be a fighter multi-class into a mage multi-class thief.
Yeah.
Gnome, fighter cleric, fighter illusionist, fighter thief, cleric illusionist, cleric thief, illusionist thief. It's kind of redundant, but
Yeah.
Yeah. A halfling can only be a fighter thief. A half elf can be a fighter cleric, fighter thief, fighter druid, fighter mage, cleric ranger, cleric mage, thief mage, fighter mage cleric, fighter mage thief.
I felt like I was back in school because I was reading it with you.
Yeah, and that's it.
Cool.
Yeah. So human can be all of them.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's just like
Superior race.
Yeah, absolutely. But like this example right here, Rupert's character, Morrison, the multifaceted, is a half-elf fighter mage thief. At first level, Morrison rolls 3 dice for hit points, D10 fighter, a D6 thief, and a 1D4 mage. The results are 6, 5, and 2. Their sum is 13, is divided by 3, and rounded down to equal 4, 4.5. Then they round down, obviously. Morrison begins the game with 4 hit points. Later, Morrison reaches second level as a thief. Before he reaches second level as a fighter or mage, he rolls 1d6 for additional hit points, and the result is 4. He divides this by 3 because he has 3 classes and rounds down. He gets 1 more hit point when he becomes a second level thief. He will also roll a d10 and a d4, both divided by 3, when he reaches second level fighter and as a mage, respectively.
Are we taking calculus?
Yeah, so literally you have to roll 3 dice, add them together, and then divide them by 3 to figure your hit points out.
Now wait a second though. How are they leveling individually? Is it you just put experience towards a specific class?
Yes, it's a la carte. So when you level up, you choose which one you want. So like when you level up, you're like, cool. This is the first time that they added it, where you could, choose which level that you went into. So you could go up in mage, you go up in. But everything that I've read, I mean, I don't really see anything where you couldn't just start pumping one or the other. But everything I read is like you go 1 in this one, 1 in this one, 1 in this one, then back, and just keep leveling each one up instead of like, I'm going to pump them all into barbarian. But I think you could. There's nothing that says you can't do that. So, but it's just...
Well, at that point, what's the point of multi-classing then?
Well, I'm not saying like you don't take that, but like nowadays, would you want to be would you want to be a level 5 fighter and a level 5, magic caster?
This is different though now.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is like, you still have some benefits of each class, but you may take only like 1 or 2 levels in a certain one to get like a base level feat instead of, evening them all out. Because, I mean, we've all played video games here. Like, you definitely, there are some games where you're going to put everything into one specific thing to fit a goal. And then there's going to be games where you're like, all right, I need to balance these out. So
I put all mine into charisma so I can seduce the dragon.
Love it. Well, you're not going to be pelvic thrusting when it crests out of the water with my humpback whale bard build.
There's ventriloquism.
Paladin bard.
Paladinburg.
There's ventriloquism, just so everyone knows. Their character has learned the secrets of throwing his voice, although not actually making sound come from somewhere else, like the spell. The character can deceive others into believing this to be so.
No, that wasn't me, man. That was that rock talking over there.
Yeah.
It was that rock.
It makes me think
I
of
rolled a 10.
X-Men when Wolverine first wakes up inside the school and Xavier's talking to him in his head, but it sounds like it's coming from all around.
Yeah.
If a character makes an obviously inanimate object talk, a book, mug, etc., a -5 penalty is applied to his ability score. And if a believable source, a PC or an NPC, it is made...
I rolled a 3.
I rolled a 7.
I rolled a 3 after my -5. I rolled an actual 8.
So then I rolled a 2.
If a believable source, a PC or an NPC, is made to appear to speak, a +2 bonus is added to his ability score.
I rolled an 8 again.
I got a +2, so I rolled a 17.
I got a 10.
So I'm gonna make Tim confess his love to you, Nick.
I mean, he already knows.
Hey, this is my one shot.
That's just something I saw scrolling through. That is funny.
It'd be great if he's like, "This is funny," and then he just sat there in silence, like, "I'm not telling you guys. This is for me alone."
And that was it.
That was the funny thing, was the ventriloquism.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry, I look like the asshole.
Inescapable death. There are occasions when death is unavoidable. No matter how many hit points the character has, a character could be locked in a room with no exits, with a 50-ton ceiling descending to crush him. He could be trapped in an escape-proof box filled completely with acid. These examples are extreme and extremely grisly, but they could happen in a fantasy world.
Tim, can you put our characters in a situation like that? Like, no, like, I'm killing your character right now. Like, that's an intentional thing. You're dead.
Like, why would they even bother to add that in the Players Handbook? Like, what DM in the right mind would be like, I'm just going to kill you. There's no way out.
Well, I mean, they also put this in the Player's Handbook when talking about proficiencies. A player character is more than a collection of combat modifiers. Most people have a variety of skills learned over the years. Consider yourself as an example. How many skills do you possess? If you've gone through 12 years of school and you're moderately active in after-school programs and did fairly well on your grades, oh, well, count me out. Then the following might be a partial list of your skills: English, reading and writing, geometry, basic chemistry, physics, music, playing an instrument, Spanish, French, German, basic shop, typing, driving, history, basic biology. And then in addition to things learned in school, you have learned things from your parents, friends, scouts, or other groups. You might be able to add any of the following to your list: swimming, hunting, fishing, canoeing. I want Enoch to be proficient in canoeing. Sailing, horseback riding or humpback whale riding, first aid, animal training, cooking, sewing, embroidery, and dancing.
Corn shucking.
Yeah, and it's like, now that you've graduated from school, you get a job. Are you just a carpenter, mechanic, electrician, salesman, or secretary?
Jeez.
Of course not. You are a lot more than just your job. So like, it's just another thing that they put in there that's very common sense. You're like, but now if you have a certain intelligence, you can't read.
It's true.
So
true.
But then there's like a D100 like secondary skills. So if you roll a 1 or 2, you're an armorer. You make, repair, evaluate armor and weapons. If you roll a 3 through 4, you're a Fletcher. You can, make, repair, evaluate bows and arrows.
You said a D100?
Yeah, D100.
Wait, what's a 73?
73 is no skill of measurable worth.
Womp womp. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a 100.
Roll twice. Reroll any result of 86 through 0.
55.
So 55, you're a tailor or a weaver, weaving, sewing, and embroidery.
14.
And 14 is a fisher, swimming, nets, and small boat handling. All right, and for me,
Small boat
I
handling.
am a
So you can tailor and fish.
79. Once again, no skill of measurable worth.
What is 69?
69 is woodworker.
Well, that was a 66.
Which is trapper or furrier.
A furry?
Basic wood lore and skinning.
Excellent.
Yeah, trapper, you're furrier. So your character is just like covered in like a thin layer of fur.
Oh,
Oh my god.
that's kind of like me.
I think we should start using this for our campaigns.
That would be actually kind of nice or funny to do, like roll a d100 and figure out what you're proficient in.
But here, let me, so I can read a couple more of these. So then, like, if you're a 5 through 10, you're a farmer. 11 through 14, fisher, which is swimming, nets, small boat handling. 15 through 20 is a forester. Basic wood lore and lumbering. 21 through 23 is a gambler. 24 through 27 is a groom, as in you're good at grooming animals. 28 through 32 is a hunter. Butchering, basic tracking. 33 through 34, jeweler. 35 through 37, leather worker. 38, 39 is a painter, a map maker, appraisal of art objects. 40, 42 is a mason, stone cutting. 43, 44 is a miner. 45, 46 is a navigator. 47, 49 is a sailor. 50, 51 is a scribe. 52, 53 is a shipwright, so good at sailing and fixing boats. 54, 56 is a tailor or weaver. 57, 59 is a teamster or a freighter. Animal handler or wagon repair. 60 through 62 is a trader, barterer. 63, 66 is a trapper or furrier. Tim, we all know the beloved 67 through 68 is a weaponsmith. 69 through 71 is a woodworker.
Hey.
72 through 85, me and Nick. No skill of measurable worth. And then if you roll an 86 through 100, you get a roll twice. So you get 2. That's fun.
Nice.
Yeah. But man, that's just rough. You know, we get real excited to do this, and then we get no
notable
skill.
skills.
But
Cool.
canoeing, I can canoe.
It's interesting that's the higher numbers instead of the lower numbers.
I mean, it's a good mix, but yeah, it is kind of weird that they're like, well, I guess they're like, they're like, oh, you know, people
They ran
probably
out of
won't
things. They're like, what do we do with these last 2 sets of numbers? One of them you get to roll twice. What about the other one? Hey, you just fucking suck.
They don't get shit. Let's see here.
I skipped down all the way down to the spells. But if you have anything before that.
How dare you? Yes, I've got lots of funny things. Let me.
Because I have a spell that it's yeah.
Is that my favorite spell?
I don't know.
Well, everyone knows my favorite spell is Sticks and Snakes.
It's not that.
Well, then that's not a good
There's
spell.
another.
There's another.
Oh, well, now I gotta wait for this to load.
Huh?
Tim, go.
How
I'm
dare?
gonna go.
Oh, here we go. The starting money. All player characters begin with some amount of cash. This nest egg may be your character's life savings. It may be a gift from his parents to start him out in the world. It may be his booty from an army campaign. Perhaps he stumbled across a small treasure chest, whetting his appetite for greater and more dangerous prizes. How he came to his money is not important, although it may be fun to know. You are free to create any explanation of what you want. So, like, yeah,
I robbed a bank.
Yeah.
I murdered somebody.
To the microphone. Yeah, like, oh yeah, I have 100,000 platinum. Why? I don't have to tell you.
Is there a way to determine your money? Or, like, does it make you roll, or you just say, "Oh, here's my money"?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. So it says that you can make up whatever you want, but here is a table for initial character funds. So a warrior rolls 5d4 times 10 gold points or 10 gold pieces.
How many D4?
5d4.
Oh gosh, I have to find all my D4s. Pulling dice.
9 times you said 10?
Yeah.
90. That was my signing bonus to go
Jeez.
in as a soldier.
3 plus 4 is 7. Whatever the other math there was.
70.
He just makes it up. I start with 100,000 platinum.
I forgot how much other math there was.
Yeah, it was just times 10, so 70.
70. Yeah.
How did you come about your wealth?
I stole it from old women.
Oh, good. So that's for a warrior. A wizard is 1d4 plus 1 times 10. But it's PEMDAS, so you've got the parentheses.
40.
30.
Okay. Rogue is 2d6 times 10.
Ooh. 2d6.
70.
Yeah.
Uh,
Literally 2d6, and he's got a calculator out.
I am dumb. That's 9, right? 90?
Is that 3 and 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 90.
All right, and then a priest is 3d6.
What?
Yeah. Come on. We all know that the Catholic Church is the most, like, the richest
70
organization in
again.
the world.
11, so 110.
Yeah.
See, them clerics, them generic clerics, they know what to do.
The Pelor prayer cloth.
I got it from my telethon.
I took my money from the tithe.
Nice. And then, like, equipment, it breaks down, like, having to pay for your belt, your boots, your hats, your cloaks, your girdle, your gloves, a hose.
What if I'm naked?
Well, then you don't have to pay shit.
Yeah.
You have to pay for, like, fish hooks, fishing net, flint and steel, glass bottles.
Why would I buy those things? I'm not proficient in anything.
Yeah. Hourglass. Like, 25 gold pieces for an hourglass.
No.
What?
What's in your backpack? I don't know shit, but here's my hourglass. I'll tell you in an hour.
I have no skills. This is what I
Yeah,
got.
yeah, maybe because you're so dumb, you're like, oh, here you go. Like a lock, you can get a good or a poor lock. A good lock is 100 gold pieces. A poor lock is 20.
Jeez.
What?
So I would just buy 2 poor locks.
And lock them together?
Yeah, just lock it so I got double locks. Magnifying glass, map or scroll case. Like, a map or scroll case is 8 silver pieces, but, like, it doesn't have a map or a scroll in it necessarily. A scale, a mirror, oil, which, per flask. You can buy Greek fire for 10 silver or 10 gold pieces, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
Paper, 2 gold per sheet, 2 gold pieces per piece of paper.
What?
That's insane. Rope,
Fuck.
which per 50 feet is 1 gold piece, which is like that shit you get for free now. If you want silk rope, it's 10 gold pieces. And then you have to buy the bag too. If you want a large bag, 2 silver pieces.
At least the bag's cheap.
And then small bag is 5 copper pieces.
I would literally just buy a bag and then not have anything in it but my gold.
Not have anything but your hourglass.
I don't have enough money for an hourglass. None of my rolls were 100.
Yikes. Yeah, you're the only person that rolled 110, so you could be a cleric with an hourglass, man. All right, you got an hour to let God judge you. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of fun. There's also a breaks down. One other thing before we get to the spells was combat, like wrestling results.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Which-
There's like a knockout and
Yeah.
What do I roll?
Here, hold on, I gotta.
It's so complicated.
Yeah,
I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah.
Because there's like a haymaker that you can throw, and then there's like a bear hug that you can use, and there's like a wild punch and then a rabbit punch.
So punching and wrestling results. A haymaker, it does 2 damage. Which these are punches, and it's like all based on the attack roll.
How do I do my attack roll?
So
That's a D20.
it's a D20. So yeah, roll a D20, and I'll tell you what kind of punch you did.
18.
So that was a rabbit punch. So that does 1 damage.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
So basically that's what it is you roll your...
All right, Tim, we're fighting. Roll your die.
All right, okay, here we go. You guys are each going to have, we'll go with 7 hit points apiece.
Okay. This is my first roll.
Doesn't count,
Okay.
no. All right, guys, we are currently doing this. Hold on. Before you guys start, I need some character background. All right, so we find ourselves in a tavern in the land of Schmoigenboigen. It's a pretty rough part of town. No people go to this tavern. Someone spilled a drink and a fight has broken out between a...
I'm the mayor's son who's fucking hammered and spilled the drink.
And your name is?
Schmoigenberg.
Schmoigenberg. Oh, shit. And then we've got this short fella over here.
Oh.
And looks like...
I'm a gnome short man.
the gnome short man. And your name is?
Schnee.
All right, let's... all right, first you got to roll initiative. So let's roll your initiative, straight rolls.
12.
4.
Ah,
So he goes first. All right. Schmoigenberg goes first.
6.
A 6. So that is a jab. You do 2 points of damage.
Oh,
Boom.
God.
You're down to 5, bruh.
Oh.
All right, what you got, gnome short guy?
I rolled a 1.
That is a wild swing, so that is 0.
Oh.
So you do no damage. So you swing wide.
Oh,
He probably just swung at my shins.
Mhm.
probably.
And so
It's my drunken stupor.
yeah,
Can't
you're
give
kind of
me.
like the drunken monkey style. So you
Yeah.
like swing backwards, and like one of your buddies like pushes you back forward, and you come in with a
10.
10. So then you have like a glancing blow. So like right as you lean back and you dodge that swing, you just come in and just kind of lightly smoke them. That's 1 point of damage there. So that brings you down to what, 4?
Yep.
All right, what you got, short guy?
Another 1.
Another wild swing. So you kind of have that glancing blow, and like as like
My
Ti-
momentum
yeah,
forward just
yeah.
keeps propelling me.
Yeah, Tim's character just kind of like tries to like swing out of the way, and as he's going, he just kind of flails both of his arms over the top of your
Stop
head.
it! Stop it! I'm being assaulted!
Oh, I had a 3.
And so then you off that glancing blow, then you just come back with a hook with your right, and you hit him for 2 points.
Down to 1 hit point, dude.
Finally, a 16.
No. You'd be down to 2 hit points.
Yeah, 2 hit points.
16.
So then you take that right hook right in your like lower rib, and you're like, oh man, that really hurts. And so just all this rage, you just swing right in the jaw with a left hook for 1 point of damage.
Ha, ha.
So you were looking very bloodied,
Yep.
short guy gnome, and the mayor's son, which of course a politician's son, is looking pretty good.
7.
A 7. So that's a combination.
Oh.
So you get hit with that hook to the face, and then you kind of swing to the left, and you jab one rib, and then you just come in and you just uppercut right in the jaw, knocking them out. 2 points, and they're down.
Boom. You are
Aw.
out, son.
But short gnome guy had a friend who was sitting at the bar,
Oh, shit.
and they're pissed.
Oh, no.
And this is a big burly motherfucker named
Oh,
Oum. And Oum, describe yourself, please.
I'm a big, hairy, what are the
Man, bear, pig.
big, hairy, well, I can't think of the races right now. What is the bigger race? It would be the, elf.
A bugbear or an owlbear?
Sure. A big, hairy,
A bugbear.
a bugbear.
All right, and so you're going to come in, and you know what you're proficient in? You're proficient in wrestling.
Wrestling. I'm going to
So-
wrestle you.
So you see this motherfucker. You will give you 7 hit points just to keep it fun. You're still at 6
I'm
hit
6.
points. And you're going to have to roll initiative one more time.
I got a 9.
10.
10.
Oh, shit.
So here comes this bugbear coming at you, all hairy and shit. Oum.
I rolled an 18.
An 18. Okay, this is actually... Okay, here we go. This is going to be a little bit tougher. A kick. This isn't wrestling. This is dirty. So Oum goes in, arms out, looking like it's coming in for a big old hug, and then just goes right for a Rochambeau right between your legs and hits you for 3 points of damage.
Oh, shit.
And so you grab your little man berries, and you're howling right now.
Oh.
Yeah. And that puts you at 4, or that puts you at
3.
3. Okay.
So that was a 15.
A 15. Do you want to?
Do I get an option?
Well, you can wrestle or you can punch.
Yeah. Do you want to punch or do you want to wrestle?
I'm going to wrestle him.
All right. So you get punched in the little man berries. And Oum's yelling their own name because they're feeling wild. And you go and you wrap your leg around them and you put them into an arm bar for 2 points of damage.
Oh, shit.
That is an 8.
An 8. Oh, so you get twisted into that leg, and you're pissed off about it. So you grab their leg, and you put them into a leg twist. So it looks like you guys are playing this sexy, drunken game of Twister right now. He's got a hold of your arm, you got a hold of his leg.
Figure 4, baby.
For 1 point of damage.
For 1 point, I'm down to 2 points. Shit, I got a TKO right now.
I have like 6 points, right?
12.
12. So you got him in that arm. He's got a hold of your leg, and you just take your elbow and you just drive it right down into their kidney. Just left or right kidney?
I'm going to go right kidney.
Right kidney.
Yep.
Roll a d6.
D6.
Whoa.
5.
Ooh, that's 2 points of damage. That's at left kidney.
That's the infected one.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it hurts when they pee. That's a 20. Natural 20.
Shit, this is going to be the knockout right here.
So you got hit in your kidney, and you're like, oh, that's my bad kidney. I just got it replaced. With another bad kidney, so I don't know what happened here. So with all their rage, just starts, they throw their hands down. You're like, what's going on? And all of a sudden you hear Sandstorm by Darude playing over the loudspeakers, and they just come in with the haymakers, and they're swinging, and that's 2 points of damage.
And that's going to knock me the fuck out.
And that's what happens when you fuck around and find out.
Ooh.
All right, well, thank you for playing 2E punching and wrestling, and maybe we just need to start adding these random encounters into our podcast.
100%.
Whenever we start
Are in taverns.
Yeah.
No, I don't even think it should just be randomly, like,
Okay.
beginning intro music, roll initiative. So, if you've made it this far into the podcast, keep an eye out for it. There may just be random fights in the middle of us discussing 2E. So that's what I had for the punching and the wrestling results, but it was just kind of great because you've got kidney punches, rabbit punches, leg locks, leg twist, throws, elbow smash, which I was really hoping that Dwayne The Rock Johnson was just going to come and just
With the
people's
people's elbow.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of fun that's a whole thing. And there even is a bear hug
Yep.
for 2 points of damage.
I saw that.
So,
I was really thinking that Oum would come in with a bear hug to start us off.
well, I didn't roll the dice.
I did.
I just work here.
So moving on to the spells, which I found to be interesting.
What if he's like, I found them very boring next?
Yes. So you have like normal spells, alarm, burning hands. There's this one called cantrip. There's also
It's just called cantrip?
Yep.
Does it have a description?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
There's affect normal fires.
Okay.
Yep. And then you get into like the Mordecaian stuff, like that is the name that pops up. Bigsby's hand.
Mm-hmm.
However, it gets a little funny with Bigsby's hand.
You could jerk someone off?
Bigsby's forceful hand.
It's forceful hand. It's not his regular hand. It's his forceful one.
Yep. And then there's the grasping hand, Bigsby's grasping hand, or Bigsby's clenched fist.
So, okay. So what they did in the 5th edition is they just took all of that pretty much and put it into one Bigsby's hand. But this one, you have to pick which one you want.
Yeah.
And they're different levels. So 5th level is Bigsby's indisposing hand.
Wait,
6th level is forceful hand. 7th level is grasping hand, and then 8th
Yeah.
level is clenched fist.
I want to know what the forceful hand.
You know what it is.
Well, I was gonna tell you what
Is it a
if
backhand?
you want to know what cantrip was, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I want to know cantrip.
So cantrip, all schools of magic, range is 10 feet, verbal and somatic. Duration is 1 hour per level, so like you could have some fun with that. Casting time is just 1 action. Area effect is special. Saving throws, there are none. Cantrips are minor spells studied by wizards during their apprenticeship, regardless of school. The cantrip spell is a practice method for the apprentice, teaching him how to tap minute amounts of magical energy. Once cast, the cantrip spells enables the caster to create minor magical effects for the duration of the spell. So minor are these effects that they have severe limitations. They are
Prestidigitation.
completely unable to cause a loss of hit points, cannot affect the concentration of spellcasters, and can only create small, obviously magical materials. Furthermore, materials created by cantrips are extremely fragile and cannot be used as tools of any sort. Lastly, a cantrip lacks the power to duplicate any other spell's effects. Whatever manifestation of the cantrip takes, it remains in effect only as long as the wizard concentrates. Wizards typically use cantrips to impress common folk, amuse children, and brighten dreary lives.
Yep.
Please.
Who likes the smell of fresh cut grass?
Common tricks with cantrips include tinklings of ethereal music, brightening faded flowers, glowing balls that float over the caster's hand, which makes you think of what is that?
Mage hand?
No, with David Bowie
Oh.
when he's like the Goblin King. Why can't I think of that?
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth, yeah. I was like Pan's Labyrinth. I'm like, that's not that. What am I doing here? Glowing balls, I've done that. Puffs of wind to flicker candles. Spicing up aromas and flavors of bland food. Little whirlwinds to sweep dust under rugs. Combined with the unseen servant spell, these are tools that make housekeeping and entertaining simpler for the wizard.
There's other spells in here like
I want Roomba spell though. Like your cantrip is like Roomba. I just create a whirlwind and I just clean
Wait,
up.
so is Mage Hand a thing here?
there's Magic Mouth.
Whoa, I want to know what that magic mouth do.
So there's weird ones I'm just going to name. Mount, Read Magic, Spook,
Ah!
right? Tinzer's Floating Disc,
That's a current spell that it just can carry shit.
Yeah.
right? Ventriloquism is a spell. Deep Pockets, ESP, Fog Cloud, Fool's Gold, Forget, No Alignment. Yep.
You face a big bad. I cast no alignment. He's now neutral.
Oh, we're friends now. We're cool.
We're cool. Item. There's this one that's called Item.
Item.
Yep. Melf's Minute Meteors.
Ooh.
Yep. Phantom Steed. Slow Spectral Force Suggestion Tongue.
But here we go. This is the spook spell. A spook spell enables the wizard to play upon natural fears to cause the target creature to perceive the spellcaster as someone or someone inimicable. Without actually knowing what this is, the wizard merely advances threateningly upon the creature. If a successful saving throw for a spell is not made, the creature turns and flees at maximum speed as far from the wizard as possible, though items carried are not dropped. The creature has a saving throw penalty of -1 for every 2 experience levels of the caster, to a maximum of -6 at 12th level. Note that a natural unmodified roll of 20 automatically succeeds regardless of saving throw penalties. Although the caster does not actually pursue the fleeing creature, a phantasm from its own mind does. Each round after the initial casting, the creature receives another saving throw without penalty until it successfully saves, and the spell is broken. In any event, the spell functions only against creatures with intelligences of 2 or more, and undead are not affected at all.
And that's a level 1 spell.
Yep.
That's actually pretty OP.
Yeah. So there is Tasha's Hideous Laughter in here, or Uncontrollable Hideous Laughter. There's Liamon's Tiny Hut. And then you have Liamon's Secure Shelter. I found that to be kind of interesting. Rari's Mimic Enhancer. So you get a lot of the Mordecai Tasha's in there. The Magnificent Mansion shows up. One spell, if you would scroll down to 198, Phil.
That's like way too far from where I'm at right now, but I will.
Because this is a 9th level spell.
Ooh.
9th level spell. And some of the 9th level spells are Bigsby's Crushing Hand, Energy Drain, Foresight, Gate, Imprisonment, Meteor Swarm, Monster Summoning level 6, Mordecai's Disjunction, Power Word Kill, and it goes on. And the one that I want you to read,
Can I guess what it is?
probably.
Is it weird?
Yeah, that's it. Just weird.
So range is 30 yards. It's verbal and somatic. It's a concentration, and the casting time of nine rounds. 20-foot radius. Saving throw is special. This spell confronts those affected by it with phantasmal images of their most feared enemies, forcing an imaginary combat that seems real but actually occurs in the blink of an eye. When this spell is cast, the wizard must be able to converse with the victims to bring the spell into being. During the casting, the wizard must call out the creatures to be affected, informing one or all that their final fate, indeed their doom, is now upon them. The force of magic is such that even if the creature makes their saving throw versus the spell, fear will paralyze them for a full round, and they will lose 1d4 strength points from this fear. The lost strength will return in one turn. Failure versus save spell, the creature or creatures to face their nemesis, the opponent's most feared and inimical to them. Actual combat must then take place, for no magical means of escape is possible. The foe fought is real for all intents and purposes, or if you're a weirdo, intensive purposes. Affected creatures that lose die. If a creature's phantasmal nemesis from the weird spell is slain, then the creature emerges with no damage, no loss of items seemingly used in the combat, and no loss of spells likewise seemingly expended. Experience for defeating the weird is gained if applicable. Although each round of combat seems normal, it takes 1/10 of a round. During the course of the spell, the caster must concentrate fully upon maintaining it. If the combat goes beyond 10 rounds, those who saved against the spell can take action. If the caster is disturbed, the weird spell ends immediately. Creatures attacked while paralyzed with fear are free of the paralysis immediately.
Interesting.
So basically, you're creating a spell and you're conjuring whatever it is. So, like, if our characters were cast a spell, like, it would be like this, like,
It'd be like an Inception.
Mega Dragon type thing.
It would be an Inception, and if you die in your dream, you die in real life.
Yeah, which is wild.
It's so wild.
Yeah, it's cool. It's weird.
Dang
weird.
it, you pay me by this much.
It's weird.
Because you're in your own weird spell right now.
And it takes
Shit.
It takes 9 rounds.
Yeah.
So you would have to be like way in the back, I guess.
Yeah, but hold on. I just had the where is it?
Oh.
Oh man, it's already gone. Dang it.
What is the casting radius?
Oh, that's what I was gonna pull up. 30 yards. So yeah, I mean you could be pretty far away. If you were in the backpack of your fighter, you know, and,
with your 3/4 cover.
yeah, and I would, multi-class as a thief or whatever, a rogue, 3/4 cover, and I'm good. I cast that spell on you, and you have to fight your worst enemy. So moving forward, I am only afraid of earthworms.
Okay.
So
Fair.
just remember that.
I do not see turn sticks and the snakes as the pre-spell.
It is there.
I would assume it to be level 1, and I'm not seeing it.
No, that's a high level spell. What are you talking about?
Is it a high level spell?
I don't really think it's a high level spell, but I saw it. I know it exists. Don't do this to me.
I didn't see it. What is it called?
Sticks to snakes.
Sticks to snakes. So it'd be under the S's.
Good. I'm proud of you.
Yep. No. It is there. It's a level 4.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta have magic. You gotta be a real good cleric.
So you can either cast as a 4th level cleric or a 4th level spell, plant door or sticks in the snakes.
Sticks into snakes all day.
Anything else you want to add about 2E? And then we'll go back to talking about Force Gump.
I think I am ready to talk about boxes of chocolates.
Nick, anything you want to add?
No, I think I definitely this version of D&D has taken a step up in just awesomeness in the weirdest ways.
Absolutely.
And I love it.
Yeah, like now I really want to start throwing in like these random bar fights with these kind of rolls.
Right. I would gladly do that.
Or like take the skill sets where it's like, all right, cool. All right, you're not special. All right, you get 2 rolls.
You're doubly special. Tim had to make up for our lack of special.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'm double cool. These guys are double dumb.
And I have the most gold too. So
That's true.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
To be a white guy in America.
Right.
Clearly, you were a dwarf and I was a gnome.
Yeah.
And I'm just a human.
The superior race.
No, look at me. I'm a child. Clearly, I'm a halfling.
He's got a little mustache, right?
No, we're not doing that. No.
Yeah, I think I'd rather play 2E than 1E for sure.
I'm going to
100%.
say 5E. All right, we're going to rewrite this entire story. Now we're going to play it in 2E.
I would add 2E elements in the 5E, like the fighting and the weird spell, just because.
Right?
Yeah, the weird spell is pretty fantastic. I kind of want to see if I can homebrew that into something at some point.
Tim, work on it. Sneeze a magic user, so
You would need access to 9th level spells.
you can modify it to be a lower level spell.
Yeah. Less of a casting time. 9 rounds is a little steep, even
Yeah.
for a 9th level spell.
Yeah. Which is wild, though, because you would have to go 9 rounds. Like, 9 rounds of combat is already a long time. And then you have to then have a combat inside of a combat. So then you're like, all right, 1/10 of a turn. All right, everyone goes around. All right, cool. All right, you're fighting for 5 minutes. All right, now back to you guys. And then you
Well,
get to
didn't
the-
it say, like, after 9 or 10 rounds in that, then the characters that saved on the outside can take an action?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's just wild. Well, I
Well,
guess,
but
yeah.
then you have to have stats and things for what the bad guys are fighting inside the
yeah.
fight, within the fight.
Jesus. No wonder. I would be interested to see if that's made it to 3E. Probably not.
Can we,
I don't
can we
remember- well-
retcon that Enoch is actually a level 17 sorcerer?
No.
Okay, I tried.
Next week, I think we'll do 3E, right?
I think 3E makes sense.
Yep.
Or we'll talk about Charmed reboot, or Forrest Gump, or
Let's get into some Supernatural, all right?
Supernatural, sure.
I am one of the leading experts on Supernatural lore.
It's true. After that, we're brewing up a one-shot with maybe a new person.
I mean, do we want to give them, make it interactive so we could throw this up on social media and kind of talk about what we have our ideas for a couple one-shots?
Sure, go for
Yeah.
Or do
it.
you want to keep it secret? All right, so I know Nick's got one that he wanted.
We're going to keep mine secret.
Oh, we'll keep that one secret.
Let's
Well, okay, so there's 2 of them. So one of them, so you have to go on our social media, go on our Instagram, and you have to vote. Either doing a like Star Wars Clone War based one shot or mini series where the main characters are effectively clones, or one that's kind of based in feudal Japan more or less and has like different warring factions.
and those one shots will be ran by Phil himself.
Yes.
Phil the Wonderful. If you really, really want to, you can write in a vote for Forrest Gump one shot.
I guess, yes, that will be the third option. I'll add that as well. If you want a Forrest Gump one shot, and if that gets a majority of the votes, I will find a way to make it happen for you.
I love it. And eventually, we'll try to get into our campaign again.
Yep.
Yay! One day.
One day.
for sure it'll be super nice to finally get back into the campaign, get that running again, figure out more of Snee's memories. What are we going to do about these dragons? What's going to happen now that half the population's illegal because they're not human? The superior race.
Is Enoch really a level 17 sorcerer that knows the weird spell?
Exactly.
Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Love you, bye.
Bye.
The B.S. Roll is Timothy Farr as our forever DM, Valerie Simone as Ida Gotham, Nick Urban as Snee, Phil J. Cox as Enoch Sunforger, Ryan Freeman as Babylon Wonderhoof. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever podcasts can be found. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a review. It helps us a lot. We do not advertise, so our ratings and reviews are the best way to help us grow. Thank you so much. Love you a lot. Have a good one.